All right, you're on the George Wilder Jr. Show. Go right ahead.
Hi, this is Timona.
Hi,
Are you
Timona.
fine?
Timona Ross on the George Wilder Jr. Show, ladies and gentlemen. You've written a book, and one of the first things I wanted to ask you about the title. What do you mean by "I don't moo"? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. I don't moo, and that's MOO.
Yeah.
The young lady on the cover has vitiligo, and it's a skin condition which causes patches.
Yeah.
And because of the patches, some people would say it resembles a cow, which is offensive, of course, mind you. But that is where she is. She's walking through high school. Her peers are saying that she's a cow, and her response to that is, "I don't move."
It's a catchy title. It's a kind of title you don't see a lot when you're especially writing a book, and that's the title. And what are some of the responses that you're getting from the book? How is the book doing?
It's very early in its stages. However,
Okay.
I am receiving a lot of positive feedback. When people are reading it and they get back to me, they're letting me know they really enjoyed the story. What I try to do is I try to make it more than just a book about her, but it's more also about a family setting. So there's a grandmother in the story that's in her 60s. She has two daughters. You can place them at about 30, 40. She also has two sons. You can place the oldest one about in his 30s, as well as a younger son in his early 20s. So it's multi-generational, and I did that on purpose so that if you do read the book, you can enjoy it. You can see yourself somewhere in the story. It's not just for a younger crowd.
Okay, great. Would you say the book is nonfiction?
No, it is fiction.
Okay, it's straight up fiction, but it's a true story, but it's fictionalized.
It's true in the sense that there are many young ladies who suffer bullying.
Right.
This is a
Bullying.
complete fiction. Yes, this is a fiction piece.
Okay. All right, because I've got some stuff out there that bullying, and that's totally fiction, but bullying is not fiction. Bullying is very, very real, and it is a hot topic. I mean, because I had a young man on the show not too long ago. He sounds as if he was 13 or 14 years old, and we were discussing bullying because he was being bullied. I guess he wanted some advice on how to stop the bullying, and and I told him that the first thing you do, the first thing is that bullies are cowards. There's no doubt about that. They are cowards. Yeah. They're insecure in that fashion. And I told him one of the greatest things he could do is to stand up to a bully. Because if you don't stand up to a bully, they're going to keep coming after you. No doubt about that.
Correct.
I mean, if you show them that you got some mojo about yourself, they may back off. Because I can talk about bullying. I was bullied when I was in grammar school and high school. I was bullied. And one of the ways that I remedied bullying, stopped it, was I stood up to the guy. I stood up to him. I lost the fights, but I stood up to him. But he know that I was
you weren't just going to take it lying down.
I'm not just going to take it down. Right, take it lying down. I really, and I try to tell young people when they approach me and they ask me about it, stand up to a bully. Because the bully that I stood up to, after I stood up to him, I mean, he backed down and we became friends. We actually became friends, best buddies. So I would say to anybody out there, if you're being bullied, stand up. Now, this is not going to happen in every case, okay? That's not going to happen in every case. But I would say to anybody out there, if you're being bullied, stand up to a bully. Because I told this young man that kids his age are not the only ones being bullied. Adults bully also. So he wasn't alone. I was trying to make him feel that he wasn't the only one being bullied. So that took a little bit off his shoulders. So this is what this book is about.
Yes, it is. And with reading the story, I pose it from Jessica's point of view so that people can realize your words do impact a person. You know, you could see her. We could walk through her life. You could see her going home, and then she's depressed, and the different things that she's thinking in her mind just because of how she's treated at school. She's dreading going and what have you. And so I'm hoping that people will think about the things that they say and do and how we treat one another. And also in the story it speaks to what you were saying. It speaks to the importance of standing up for yourself and creating a support group. You know, just listening to her story, you can tell that once she received and once she got a support group, she did much better. Instead of constantly saying, "Oh, I'm fine," and not addressing the issue, when she finally faced it and opened up to her family, like, I'm having a problem. I'm not fine. I'm not okay. I need help. You know, once you do that, then people can know that, okay, now I know that you do need help, and so now we can find you and get you help. But if you just ignore it or try to, out of embarrassment, try to hide it, then it makes it more difficult for you to receive the help that you need.
I totally agree. I think if you're being bullied, tell somebody. Do not keep it a secret. Let people know, because there's, like you say, there's all kinds of support groups out there. Tell somebody. Let people know that what's going on in your life, because if you don't tell anybody, no one's going to know, and nothing will be done. You have to open your mouth, and I tell my son this all the time. Your voice is power. If you don't use it, that's your problem. You know, so
it's true.
Yeah, you have to tell people. You have to let people know what's going on. A lot of people keep it within them because they don't want other people to know what's going on for whatever reason they can think of. But I mean, just like domestic violence, if you want to get out of the situation, you have to tell somebody, let people know what's going on. There's so many support groups out here that's willing to come to your defense and your aid if you just open your mouth. Right.
That is so true. But often, again, the case is the exact opposite. Out of shame or embarrassment or what have you, they try to convince everyone that, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. And then how can you get help? How can you receive help if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't allow yourself to receive the help?
And then, and then other people can probably say it's your fault because, whatever's going on is probably your fault. And, you become not the victim, but the culprit. And, that's not good. So, I applaud you writing this book. I think it's great. I know that people will get something out of it because bullying is going on in every single day. It's going on in just about every workplace, every classroom, everywhere where there's people, summer school, summer camp, you name it, the workplace, as I mentioned, it's all over, and it's not going to go anywhere.
You're right. We have to learn the coping skills and how to deal with it. I agree.
Yeah. Do you have an excerpt that you can read to us?
I sure do.
Oh. Okay.
All right, let me get started. Jessica surveys the crowd, smiling at the students in their goofball moments. She switches classes quickly, looking around as if preparing to cross a busy highway. Then the inevitable comes. Xavier runs into her before PE. Jessica's calm. She is walking with not one, but two classmates, Thomas and LaToya. Xavier flat-foots before her. He is going for a new look, the strong and silent type. His chocolate skin, enlarged head, and malnourished, lanky frame reminds her of a caricature from the Good Times television show. Jessica has no intention of giving him more of an opportunity to be in her space. As she passes him, he quickly unlatches her keys from her backpack and runs. Crap. She needs her keys. Had he taken anything else, she would have ignored him. Xavier bolts, zigzagging between students cluttering the hall. Fuming, Jessica follows in close proximity, finding it difficult due to the numerous teens in the way. He exits the bustling hallway and runs through the double swinging doors of the special ed hall. Ring! Some students use the special ed hall as a shortcut to get to the far side of the school. Rapidly heaving, Jessica enters the hall to find Xavier standing in front of a closed door, dangling her keys, grinning wickedly. Suddenly, fear overwhelms her. Looking at either side of the hall, she can see the classrooms are vacant. No one is around. No students, no teachers, and no teacher's aides. She is alone with Xavier. She starts to hyperventilate and thinks that she might pee her pants. The special ed hallway has become the second location. Her mind replays the advice of a talk show expert she had watched during the summer. Never let a perpetrator take you to the second location. Too late. Lord, help me, she pleads. It's time for you to give me some of that milk, cowgirl. Xavier taunts, licking his ashy lips. Everything inside of Jessica screams for her to flee. She backs up, and Xavier moves forward. From behind, Jessica hears someone pass through the swinging doors. In a panic, she turns to see Quincy, the coveted football jock. Quincy's cat eyes dart between the two, quickly surmising the situation. His usual chestnut face is turning scarlet. Taking full advantage of the diversion, Xavier snatches Jessica in a chokehold. Jessica's feet skim the floor, and her throat nestles in the palm of his larger-than-life hand. She cries between efforts to gasp for air. She wants to scream, but can hardly breathe. Lord, please, please don't let this happen. She tries to fight and pays dearly for every motion as Xavier tightens his grip on her neck. He is enjoying making her squirm. The physical interaction stimulates him, causing him to sweat profusely. His musky perspiration stings her nose. Yo, Quincy, I'm getting ready to get some of this milk, Xavier says, sliding his tongue along Jessica's cheek. You can have some too, but I'm going first, he continues. Jessica wants to die. She obviously cannot fight one of the boys. How will she defeat both? Worse yet, how did her life sink to this point?
Wow, that's very, very that's very dramatic. I'm mesmerized. I'm sitting here listening, and I'm just, mesmerizing at some of the things that you've said. Are you going to be doing another book on this same topic or something different?
I'm currently working on the second novel. The topic is different. Mm-hmm. However, I've chosen to stick with a younger crowd, like I was telling some of my family and friends. I'm trying to create and build a following. So if people like I Don't Moo, that means they'll probably like a younger person as the main character. So I want to keep that person or that type of audience interested. So I'm currently working on a new book at the moment.
I can tell you this: I Don't Moo. Just the title will make you want to read it. I Don't Moo, and because a lot of people are going to say, "Hey, wow, I don't move. What does she mean by that?" Probably go buy the book just to find out what are you talking about. And basically, it's about bullying. And I want to go back to say what I've said a few minutes ago, that this person in your book, I Don't Move, does she ever does her situation ever get better, or does it just get worse, or does she actually go out and reach out and try to find help? I mean, you don't have to give the book away, but
right. I don't want to give the book away, but she goes back and forth. She has moments where things are appearing to get a little better, then all of a sudden maybe not so much. So she does. She goes back and forth. She's even reached a point where she's fussing at God. Where at the beginning of the story, it's like, "Oh Lord, help me," and then throughout the story, at a certain point, she's like, "Well, why am I even talking to you? Because apparently you're not listening to me." That kind of thing. And sometimes that happens. You can have faith, and things can appear that they're not going your way, and then you can become angry at God. That's real. So like this book is fake, however, it is very real. But she goes back and forth, and eventually she gets relief. Eventually, without giving away too much of it, she's smiling at the end of the story. So.
That's great, because I mean, when you're being bullied, and with a story like yours, you want it to be, the readers want it to be a happy ending.
Right.
A story like this, because a lot of the readers themselves have been bullied.
Right.
You can't hardly find too many people that has not been bullied, or they know someone that has been bullied, or their child, or or their
Right.
nieces or siblings have been bullied. Somebody has been bullied. So with a story like this, of course, if people who have been bullied and know people who have been bullied and they read the story, they want it to be a happy ending. But sometimes, when you're in a situation like this, there is no happy ending. And
yeah, that's unfortunate.
yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's reality in some cases.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, Timona Ross on the George Wilder Jr. Show. When I saw your name, you know what I thought about? You know who I thought about? I thought about Diana Ross for some reason.
Oh, did you? No, no relation. That's what I know of.
I know, no relation. I know that, but I just, I was such a fan of hers for such a long time, and you'll see her name, Diana Ross. I said Timona Ross, and no relation, folks. If you're out there thinking that, no, this is not the sister of Diana Ross.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good book, but it's ending up to be a great book because you're trying to do something for society. You're trying to get out there and say, hey, wow, if this is happening, get some help. This is what this girl was going through. Maybe you going through something similar. Maybe I can help.
Definitely. This is a must-read, especially amongst teens.
A must-read. And how many has it been reviewed?
It has not been reviewed.
Okay.
I'm
going to do you a favor. I'm going to do you a
Okay.
great big favor. I'm going to go review it for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm going to review it for you, and I'm going to can we get it in Kindle? Can we download it?
It is. It is available on Kindle.
Okay. So I'm going to go buy it. I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to read it. I'm not going to have someone else read it until I'm going to do it myself. Usually I do my own reading, and I have interviewed books before, so I'm going to review it. I'm going to buy it because I'm going to have my son read it. We're going to read it together, because and there are people that I know that have been bullied. Maybe they can learn something from it because, when my kids were in grammar school, I used to have to, every day I would go up and pick up my son, I would have to pull somebody up off of him. And that was a shame. And believe this, the parents would sometimes stand around and watch their kids bully someone else. And some parents would egg their child on to bully a person. I've seen this. I've witnessed it. So I wouldn't say anything not true,
Right.
But yeah, so, I think this is a very, very serious subject, and it is because while you were reading the essay, I heard something you said in your reading that she wanted to die. So this is real serious.
It is. It is. And again, that's the reason why I try to write it from her point of view so that people can just try to get a better idea. Even if you're not touching a person, just taunting them can be so traumatic when it's constant and relentless and then it doesn't let up. It does affect a person. Those saying sticks and stones may break my bones, or words will never hurt me. That's not true. Words hurt, and they last.
Words
people
matter.
Remember. Yes, and people can remember what was said to them years later. It does matter, and it does hurt.
Words does matter. It does matter. Any part of this book, I Don't Moo, is any part of the story or the content goes back to some of your experiences?
Well, yes and no. Growing up, I was a military brat. And I moved to different schools constantly. So I was constantly being bullied. I was constantly the new girl in school. And it was rough. It was hard. I didn't have something that was very an obvious difference. With her, she had splotches on her face. So it was very obvious. But still, just being the new person can be enough, of a difference and not feeling that like you belong with the rest of the children and constantly moving. I remember one time I had begged and begged and begged my parents for these tennis shoes, and they finally bought me these expensive tennis shoes up and moved to a new area, and I go into the school, I'm strutting, I'm thinking that I am awesome with these new tennis shoes. And I get laughed at to the point where I'm like, oh, my gosh. So these little things. You just never know. But, yes, I definitely experienced bullying with constantly moving from, different schools. As a matter of fact, I was telling my children that between preschool and high school, I've attended at least 9 different schools. I'm not just saying I switched schools a little bit. No, I switched schools often, very often. And, again, it was starting all over, and I was telling them, at least now there's Facebook. Back when I was growing up, when you moved, you moved. You didn't carry your friends with you, unless you literally wrote them a letter and stuck it in the mail, that kind of thing. So it was difficult. It was very difficult.
Timona, one last question.
Yes.
No, I think you look great for your age.
Thank you.
One last question. Why do you think people and children bully each other? What makes a bully, in your own words?
I think they're looking for attention because they definitely receive it. The person that's yelling or pointing or laughing, they have all the attention. And it's unfortunate that you have the bystanders that are like lost sheep. They will just go along with the flow oftentimes just so that they are not the one being bullied and pointed at and balked at.
Yeah.
So they kind of, some of them you can kind of sense they're just stuck. They don't know whether to stand up for the person that's being bullied, the victim, or just to kind of go along with the flow. And so unfortunately, most of them just go along with the flow.
Yeah.
So you have this person that's just showboating and just getting all this attention at the expense of someone else.
Yeah. Timona Ross on the George Wilder Jr. Show. Like I said before, I'm going to go and download your book. I'm going to review it, give you your first review. And
Thank you.
Pardon?
I also want to share my website before you let me go.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say this, and then we'll get into all of that. Once this show is over, it's going to be a link. So I'm going to send you the link to the show once it's over.
Okay.
Once it's over and podcast and that. So you have a link to the show, and you can put the link to this show that you're on your website. Okay? So when people come by your website, they can click on the link. They can hear you on the show, and you're talking about the book and bullying. So we're going to do that. So I should be able to send you that maybe in less than 24 hours.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Okay. No problem. I mean, I think people should hear what you have to say about this book. And we're going to try to get as many reviews for your book as possible. Because right now, I'm going once this show is on your website, the people who listen are going to be told to review your book. Okay? Because I think it's a very, very nice piece of work. And now you can start giving people your website and where we can find the book.
Okay, great. So my website is www.TimonaRoss, and that's TIMONAROS.com. On my website, you can purchase autographed copies of the book, as well as sign up for the newsletter. Yes, autographed copies are only available on my website. And also, you can sign up for the newsletter so that you can get more information about the future books that are coming. And we also have books on Amazon, paperbacks. But again, those are not autographed, as well as the Kindle ebooks, also built on Amazon.
What do you love about writing?
I've always been a daydreamer. So I love creating these. Yes, I've always loved creating these different worlds and these characters and just building them up and making them complex. And I guess, again, it came from me moving around. I kind of felt alone, so I had these little characters. I would just sit and just write. I've always loved to write. So, that's what I love to do.
All right, Timona Ross on the George Wilder Jr. Show, and I want to apologize again for being late.
No problem.
All right, you take care. And I'm going to send this link. I'm going to send it to your Facebook page. I'm going to inbox it.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye-bye.
And thank you again for having me. All right, bye.
No problem. Bye-bye. Timona Ross on the George Wilder Jr. Show. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, our great guest.